Hey everybody, it's Bob here. We got the Van Webfest at CTT panel review. This is part 2. We're discovering 12 amazing Webfest shows. We've done 6 already. Now we're going to be doing another 6. And so I'm going to throw it over to Jay Dean to see what he's got to say about the show.
Hey, welcome everybody. It's good to talk to you again, Bob. It was just minutes ago, and I miss you already. Of course, we're welcoming Steph and Ken and Andrew. We'll do a little quick intro. We'll get right back into it, and we'll continue on with the next series. This is all part of Vancouver Webfest 2015, March 6th to 8th here in Vancouver. It's down at Granville Island at Performance Works. You got to go see it. The amount of shows, panels, events, galas, parties, live shows, it's too much to count. I'm overwhelmed. It's only $120 for all 3 days. A block of 5-6 shows is only $10. It's cheaper than going to the movies somewhere. So plug it in there, everybody, and go check it out. And off to Steph. Hey, Steph.
Hey everyone, Stephanie Michelle Scott of Wildfire Effect Media, and very, very recently a Conductor.com value-added reseller. So, hey, web series, interactive software is out there to help you. Hi everyone.
Excellent. Who else? We got Ken. What do you got?
Oh yes, yeah, me. Yeah, I'm Ken. I'm your regular Hangout. Not doing much sort of guy, except I'm busier than crap these days. So, doing all kinds of things, teaching VCIT and that sort of stuff.
Cool. All right, and Andrew, what do we got?
Andrew McGivern, co-host of the Interesting Podcast, a mobile technology guy in the telecom space for a couple decades and counting. And
cool.
Yeah, looking forward to these shows.
How about you? Who's that Jay Dean character?
You can reach me at JD_Christie on Twitter or crazytvtalk.com. Bifrost Systems, you can check us out there in our first product. It's a nice, lovely, local Vancouver-based software company, and we have Fanatics launching, and we love to talk technology too, and of course I love TV, and I love Bob. Bob, I love you.
Oh, it's so good to be loved. You drunk
I'm
bastards.
sorry. Does this work? Hello.
This is the second show. Sorry.
All right, so we've done 6 shows to date. It took us 1 hour and 7 minutes to do those first 6 shows. Some amazing shows. Let me just read them off. There was Discusion, which is the French accent. Gary Saves the Graveyard. Mr. Ginger. Dress Up with George Brusha. Fatty Littlehead. Space Ranger. Single and Dating in Vancouver. Now we're at number 7 at the start of this show, which is My Lupin Life with Lewis Pine. So this was a strange one. I'm going to jump in here and do it first. Basically, from an obscure area of Canada, way out in the boonies, and there's a young kid. He's got to be like 12, maybe 14 years old, with his buddy, are doing this weird mystery type show. A lot of backyard action. Interesting production. One of my favorite parts is actually the opening, where he just like, yeah, I'm a werewolf, and this is my dad. Look at that hair. I must be a werewolf. My dad's hair. He totally disses his dad.
Which is every teenager in the world. Yeah.
Exactly. So I totally relate to where he's coming from. Hey, why do you think I have my hair so short? So my kids don't think they're fucking crazy kids. Anyways, I had a great time with this one. It wasn't the strongest, but with the people that were doing it, and it was such a shoestring budget, it's pretty impressive. And I would say, I mentioned to Dad, I'm a genetic werewolf because of my dad. That was my favorite line. So with that said, I'm going to throw it over to Andrew and see what he has to say about this show.
I thought it was pretty good. I liked the whole concept of a kid werewolf trying to discover his abilities and things like that. It was pretty neat. I liked the scene where they were measuring his powers before and after he became a werewolf. And of course, it was funny when he he shaved and didn't have very many hair follicles, so he failed that test. But I thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It was, yeah, like Bob said, for such a low budget, it's pretty impressive what they were able to do.
Yep.
Definitely relying on the actors. JD, what do you got to say about this one?
So this is out of Saskatoon, which is really cool to hear and to see it. And it's definitely a family type of show in terms of it's for youth oriented. I thought the two lead actors were really great. I really liked just that simple. It looks like he has a hipster dad or a dad who's from Seattle or Portland or something. Who just has a lot of hair on his face, and there by definition is a werewolf because look at his hair. It's well done in terms of that kind of docudrama kind of thing, talking to the camera, experimenting, recording everything. Really great character development. Visually, it's fun. The cinematography is great. It's almost got this found footage thing too going on, which is really great. And just the simple premise of it, that a kid, is just trying to figure out who he is or what he is and test his powers. I mean, like, we do this all the time when we grow up. We try and jump farther or higher or lift things over our head or whatever. He just thinks he's going to turn into a creature on the first full moon. And the first episode encapsulates the whole premise and the story, and I'm totally excited to see more of it.
Cool. All right, Ken, what do you got to say?
Just to follow that, I mean, the only problem with, he's going to turn into a werewolf of the full moon was it was never a full moon.
Yeah.
And then they have the moon up in the corner, and it's not a full moon. So, I kind of saw
But hence anything didn't happen, Ken, right?
That's
Nothing
true.
happened, right? Okay.
But I did enjoy this. I thought the kid was very natural, and the buddy, he was really good too. It was a little strange. Actually, I got two things to say about this: a GoPro and a big flashlight. And basically, I think they blew the budget on those two things. Otherwise, it was those two, and they kind of wrote the whole thing, and good on them, because they're obviously sort of naturals at it, and they could carry this much further, and if they get that little bit of support from the web, they'll have the thing to take it further.
For sure. Who else have we? Did we talk to you, Stephanie, about this one?
Not yet.
All right, well then we get to talk to you then.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of curious. Was this actually created by the kid himself? Because it's got that. A lot of web series do this like really, really successfully. This is certainly not an exception to the rule, where they have that talking to the screen, a character actually talking to you. So I was thinking it's probably a very sophisticated script, and they've just cast this incredible, sassy kid that is the expert. A matter of fact, this expert even knows the international symbol for werewolf safety cells. I mean...
He's done his research. Come on.
Scratch beside the door. That's
Love. Oh, my God.
WW.
I love this series. I've had an opportunity to actually chat on social media with one of the characters of the actors that were in this particular thing. Just lovely, cute little film, and you're right, it probably is family friendly for everyone, which makes it even more fun.
So should we do a quick whirlwind score on that one? Since I started first, I gave it a 3.6. So
I'm a 3.9.
A 3.9, excellent, yeah.
I went 3.4.
JD?
I went 4.0. For a beginning show where you saw no crazy wolf changes, no crazy effects, they had me with character and story and the editing and the cinematography. So that's amazing to do. It's a 4.0.
I also went 4.0 too.
Huh, nice. So that was, wow, remarkably fast for this team. And let's move quickly and relatively briskly to number 7, sorry. No, sorry, you're right, number 8, which is Whatever Linda. And a very, very nice show. And let's start this off. Let's get JD involved because I think this deserves a bit of preamble.
Yeah, this is an amazing show. It's out of Toronto, and I hear the folks are going to be at the festival this year. Whatever Linda is a period drama comedy because it's got a really nice sharp edge of comedy, and it is about a woman who's divorced, who has a deadbeat husband, who gets a job at a financial institute, and with a few of the other women there who've all been basically demeaned, thought lesser of, never thought that they were smart or intelligent. They pull off a scheme in order to bilk money out of a financial company, this giant corporation, who essentially is probably doing the same thing in its own right. So they're running a caper within a caper type of a thing. And it is well written, sharply written, incredibly photographed. The set design, the costuming, it's like watching Casino or watching what was the one that was just out, American Hustler. They really got a great feel for it. The acting's well done. The editing's well done. The writing is great. I really, really enjoyed this show, and I'm excited. We had 4 episodes because they're quite short that we watched in this sequence, and I just want to see more and more and more. These are great, strong characters, great women characters, really worth the time and really well done.
So with that complete pan by JD, let's go to Andrew, see what he has to say.
I agree with JD, and I thought this was an awesome web series episode, and it had a mainstream TV show feel to it. It caught me right from the beginning, and it kept my attention the whole time. And I was watching it when I was pretty tired late at night, and no problem. It kept me right on focus. It was a great.
It felt like a '70s cop show almost. Like it really has the late night feel to it. That would probably be the best time to watch it.
Exactly, and also it was to me it was a female Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
You know, she's starts off as a nice housewife and has a bad divorce, and now. And her husband is, ripping her off, basically, doing businesses under her name and costing her $5,000 here, $5,000 there, whatever. And so she figures out a way to make some money. And at the very end of I think the last episode in the clips we watched, she said, "Well, this doesn't have to be our only haul. We could do this again."
Yeah.
So, so I think that's going to be the arc. It's going to be and of course it starts off. The very first scene starts off with her being called into the
into the big guy's office.
And that's one of my favorite lines. Do you know what a Ponzi scheme is? I'm a fan, an instant fan of this one.
Ken, what do you got to say?
I'm actually hoping that first scene is a little misleading in that they don't get caught right away, and he's the CFO is somehow trying to direct her in another direction, or something happens that they don't get caught, because I would like to see more of it. This was a good show. All the characters are extremely well played and well developed. They're all very much individuals, and the removing the ring and then crying when it comes off, that was like, oh jeez, oh, that would be amazing. Yes, but I even have a line from this too. When she's in the elevator and the guy says, "That's a lovely scent, lavender, lily of the valley, soap. It's soap. I took a shower."
Yeah, awesome. Just like yes.
I thought that the delivery was really well done. But so no, I enjoyed it.
Sorry, Stephanie, what do you got?
Well, you know, honestly, this show is bigger than a web series. Like, it's so full. Yeah, I don't really know exactly how to describe it, but there are a lot of brilliant web series out there, but this one is thicker than that. It's got such character development and such short little spans, as you were mentioning. We've all actually kind of mentioned the elements of how incredible this thing is. And I just know that I'm going to be going back to it. I know I'm going to be searching it out. And I know that I'm going to put it up aside all the other television shows I watch, and it's going to be equal from now all the way to the end. I'm really impressed.
Yeah, I would have to classify this as a benchmark show for web series. If you're thinking of doing a web series, this is what you watch and say, holy crap, that's what we got to do. And if you do something that's even remotely close to this, you'll be successful. It's taken stuff like the same ambience and feel and character as the Masters of Sex. It's perfectly perfect set design, perfect writing, perfect characterization, great direction, because you could see if it was over directed, it would have destroyed a lot of those characters. And those characters, they're not regular characters. They are almost comic book level weirdness to these characters. And
I like the quirky. I really like the quirky.
Yeah. So it's really got some amazing stuff going for it, and then an amazing plot line. Like, it's like, oh yeah, well, here at the end, this is the end scene where she's getting busted, and let's just roll it back and see why she gets there, and all the things and all the shenanigans these guys and women are going to get into to get to that point. And I can just see definitely season 2 them getting away with that last scene and continuing on, and it just goes up to the next level of craziness. So as far as watchable shows out of all 12, I think this one probably has the highest chance of winning the whole web series for sure, and if not, coming in a very close second.
It's nominated for the most awards, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For this show, this is the type of show that I could show you this show. Come on, right? Hey, check out this new TV show, and you would think it was done by CBS or HBO or something like that. In fact, it's so good that if I said, "Oh, it was done by Amazon," you would be impressed. Wow, Amazon pulled that off? That's amazing. Which is, that's remarkable, because Amazon's done some amazing shows. I think they have a little bit of money behind them, these guys, but it doesn't mean that it was squandered.
Yeah, they stole it.
You know what? That would be a great credit, like crediting some financial institutions. Thanks for the Ponzi.
Yes, Bill Ponzi provided financing.
But yeah, for a show that and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing another micro show, which basically what shows what we recommend. And I think this one will rate very, very highly in that show. So with that all said, let's get to the scores. I'm going to start out. I gave this a solid 4.3, which is the highest score I've given to date.
Nice. Yeah, I really agree. I gave it a 4.5. I think it has everything that you could ever want out of any kind of content.
That's a perfect score, dude. You can't do it, can you?
No. 4.9 is, like, to me, 4.5, and I've already given the top comedy a 4.5. This is my ceiling, and to me, it's earned it. It's earned it in spades. It's nominated for actor. It's nominated for, I think it's overall best Canadian. It's really one of the biggest shows at the Vancouver Web Fest this March 6th to 8th here in Vancouver at Granville Island at Performance Works. If you're going to go see a show, it really would be one that you want to check out on the big screen. It will read even better on the big screen.
Oh,
it deserves popcorn. It deserves a nice glass of beer, and you watch it and you'll have a great time.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go over to Andrew.
I gave it a 4.5 as well.
Wow. And this is a guy that's been scoring like consistently relatively low. Ken, what do you got?
Oh, I didn't like it quite that much. I only gave it a 4.2.
It's in the 1.5 that where they one of the other shows had a 1.
which is one of the highest ratings that I've probably ever given.
Dude, I didn't know you went that high.
No,
I
no.
really,
I had to pull off shoes to get that high to
You got a trampoline in there? What's going on?
It's nosebleed territory, buddy.
Oh, it is. But no, I do want to say one last thing about this show. For each of the women that in this little triad of crime, they provide really good reasons for all of them to really want that money and to really hate everything else. They provided really solid reasons why.
Yeah, beautiful writing. Beautiful plot.
But hey, Ken, what do you think is going to happen after? Because when she was in the meeting with the CFO, he said, "Before I call the authorities, is there anything you have to say?" What do you think she's going to say?
Oh,
Do you think she's going to throw the other?
Oh, she could throw.
What's her name? The girl.
Yeah, the office boss. Yeah,
the office
boss. She could throw her under the bus. Yeah.
The Miss Burning Bonfire of Optimism?
That was
what do they
first
call her?
thought.
The goalkeeper or whatever?
Or the gatekeeper, or whatever.
Yeah.
The gatekeeper? The
Yeah, the
not so
gatekeeper.
latent homosexual? Because, holy, scissoring, scissor sisters, lick it and stick it. Man, she was sexualizing everything. Wow, it was impressive.
Boy. Yeah.
I really would like to, see her get the thumb on this, and then one of the three of them to step in as the office manager. I mean, that would really complete the thing, and they could sort of run with it for a while.
So, Ken, you're already writing season 2.
I know. And they didn't even send me a check.
Yeah.
Maybe
just for the episodes. Stephanie, what do you got?
So I just wanted to say that when I first watched this one, I had it at a 3.0, but as episodes went on and as it started, the retro got really cool and the story went to what did I write down? 3.6, 3.9, 4.3.
All right, very good, very good. All right, from that, right over to, and I would have to say this next one we're going to talk about is the granddaddy of web series. Stephanie's been going on and on. My good God, lady, will you shut up about the show? And I watch this and say, oh, now I get it. Oh, okay, fine, all right. I've been bad. And we're talking, of course, about Guidestones. So I would like Stephanie introduce this because she has been the torch carrier for this show.
Well, okay, so Guidestones this is the second season of Guidestones, but Guidestones is not a web series. It is a web feature. The first interactive Guidestone series was 50 short episodes that got delivered to you on your actual email, and then you could actually watch and binge it if you wanted to on their website. It went crazy about two journalism students that find themselves in an international conspiracy. Not exactly sure what it's about, but something along the Georgia Guidestones, and it just progresses and progresses and progresses. In Guidestones Sunflower Noir, which is the one that we're reviewing, they spend a lot of time trying to catch the viewers up to an entire 50-episode feature of what had happened in the past and suggest what might happen in the future as we follow the main character as she has now left journalism school and is now searching after the conspiracy itself. Mm-hmm. So it's still interactive as it was in the first season. It still has incredible photography, amazing editing, great choices when it comes to characters. And in this first episode, we understand that they're now introducing a whole nother collection of rich characters into the fold who may know a bit about the conspiracy and may not, which I found really interesting to start it off.
I just want to jump in here and ask Stephanie, when you say interactive, and I know what the answer is, but I want our listening audience to understand this, what did they do to make it interactive?
Okay, so in the first season, and I know that it's actually part of this season 2 as well, if you watch the episodes, you have the option of just passively watching what's going on, or as the main character is introduced to different clues about the conspiracy, you can then also look at the clues and look them up on the internet to get extra footage, to get ahead of the story itself, to see if you can figure out as quickly as our main character what's happening and where the story is going to lead. So it really allows the audience to kind of jump right in and become part of the story instead of simply watching it as if it was television, for example. And why, in my opinion, web series is the way to go, because that option exists.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think the thing that's remarkable about Guidestones is, once again, we're talking about benchmarks. This is the prototype of what the future of content consumption is going to be, not for us, but for the 14-year-olds, for the 10-year-olds, for the 6-year-olds, for the 2-year-olds that will be brought up on this stuff just like we were brought up on fax machines. And they're just like, yeah, it's a fax machine. It's like, it's interactive. Of course I can call and change the plot. You know, how could you have a TV series where you couldn't do that? So our whole experiences with these type of content where we're locked out, we're just basically passive consumers of content, is going to evolve, and that, I think, is why things like the Vancouver Web Fest are so important, because this is the history. We're at the beginning of the history of the next content phenomena, so it is a pretty exciting place to be. So with that incredibly sci-fi ramble, I'm going to throw this over to JD to get the thing rolling.
So again, I'm another superhero fan of Guidestones and what it has achieved in its first season, and now what it's achieving in its second season. And they've got the same kind of. I've got the same kind of connection to the story. I've got the same kind of anticipation and excitement about the story. We watched one episode, and again, out of everything we watched today, the intro to give you an overview of what happened in those first 50 episodes the editing was amazing. They very clearly told you what the story was, what happened, certain things that were revealed, and I couldn't believe that it was like, wow, you guys actually did a summation of 50 episodes of something that were very interactive and deep, and achieved it in like 2 minutes, like a 2-minute trailer at the beginning of the show, and then introduced me to a new story, new characters, picked up with our old lead character. It is unreal what they've done, and on the budget that they've done it in. They're shooting in the countries, and this happened in the first season too, if you haven't seen it. They go to other countries and they make it look like they own it, like they're owning the streets, but they're not. They're not locking down traffic. They're not doing anything. But the way they cut it, the way they shoot it, the way they write it, it makes their tiny budget look like they're a $20 million, $30 million, $50 million movie, and it is unreal. It is out of Toronto. They've done a great job. They've partnered with CTV, I think, now, and they are really a juggernaut and are the standard, not just for interactivity, but for what you can do on a budget and what kind of deep story you can tell.
Yeah, one of the points I got here in my notes is I watched that collage sequence at the beginning, and what I loved about when they broke away from that collage and went to the streets of London shot, as a guy that shot footage and being on the street, the ability for a cameraman to capture street scenes that are real and yet have nobody in the picture, you can't see anybody's face, so it's all legally usable. It's all, as far as the law is concerned, they have shot this perfectly. And the ability for them to edit, like just as about as a person's about to reveal a face, boom, they cut away. And it really feels like Jadine said, that they thousands of extras used. So yeah, as an example of a production team and a film team and a crew that really has got it and are in their stride, this is an amazing show to study. If I was a cinema student, I would definitely recommend studying this show. So with that said, let's throw it over to Ken and see what he's got to say.
Well, with everybody gushing over this show, um, I'm
Damn
going to
it.
do exactly the same thing. This for me is a killer show. This is, as everybody has said, the benchmark. Being a mystery buff, the way they've shot it, the way they've edited it, the way it's acted, just simple things, a simple look, going in the streets of London, when they're looking through bicycle racks and other people just glancing back here and there, but appropriately so, because they're part of the show, so you can see their faces, or you're supposed to know who they are, or something is coming. This is an incredible, the interactivity of it as well. I remember when Stephanie first brought this up, and I sort of devoured a little bit of it. Unfortunately, life gets in the way, and you kind of push it aside. But this is one of those things that I just kept looking at, and I'm going to go back to it, and I think I might even hit the first 50 rather than go for the synopsis.
That was my feeling too. I all of a sudden am excited to start over again.
Yeah, exactly. You got to start.
It's a very deep story.
Yes. And I'm sure there's nuances that would be missed if you don't watch all 50. And for me, I can't possibly read the last page. I have to read right from page 1 through in order. I'm very linear that way. Even though I'm a digital sort of guy, I'm very linear about my storylines. But yeah, no, I'm a gusher about this one too.
Cool. Andrew, you got any comments there?
Yeah, I remember Stephanie talking about this at the Bunker show, and I remember thinking, man, that's right up my alley. I got to watch that, but I don't know why I didn't. Might have something to do with having all these babies around.
Yeah, damn it. You got your own web series live.
Relax, Andrew. Stop that.
Oh, Guidestones. No, I'm going to sleep. I need my sleep. No, but I'm definitely going to catch them now. After watching this one, I'm like, wow, this is unbelievable. And just like Bob said, it's like this is the standard that everybody has to, if they want to, be the best of the best, this is it. I was just amazed by it, and I'll definitely be watching
and
the rest of them.
Not just a Canadian standard. This is a world standard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
is good storytelling.
Like,
yeah.
It could have been HBO, whatever. It's
Sure.
really good.
Oh, absolutely. So with that, excuse me, does anybody have any favorite lines? I've got one here that I'm going to just throw out to get everyone warmed up. It says, "It's a pub or a church, same thing."
Yeah.
Such a British thing to say.
I did like that line too.
Such a British thing to say. So any favorite lines, starting with Stephanie?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I had kind of hinted towards the fact that they're introducing this new ensemble of characters.
Mm.
So Tate and Daniel are one of these new trio of characters, and over the course of the episode, there's this whole thing about pizza, and if you're unaware, Pizza is their sponsor, and you see it throughout all of the series. But they're having this look at the main character and, saying, credit cards came in like really high. Either she has a really, really long voyage, or she's going on this very long taxi ride, or maybe she's a big tipper. And the line that I loved was, "What gives you the impression she's a big tipper?" And they're like, and it says, "I bet she wouldn't have forgotten the Coke." Alluding back to the fact that these two characters are comically entwined within the entire thing. Loved it.
Yeah.
I really like those two characters. The two guys. That's a great combination to be chasing her. And the boss was she was okay too, but these two guys are the focus of that.
The best thing about Guidestones is we don't necessarily know that they even know that they're chasing her at this time. It's
Yes.
very deep.
This is just an exercise.
Yeah, and
So
and
far,
they're-
that's what we believe, that
yeah,
this
and
is
that's
just
what
an
they said.
exercise.
They're literally just testing software, and it's an exercise,
Sure.
and they're getting permission from security, whatever
Yes.
department that really is. We don't know.
No.
Because it's secret inside Enigma, inside a
But it's
puzzle, inside a
Something's going to happen. Something's going to twig, and these guys are going to go, "Wait a second, what the hell is going on here?" And they're going to dive into it on their own.
strong acting from them, though. They do
Yes.
a great job.
Yeah.
So, JD, do you have a favorite line?
I don't actually. I was watching it and I was so enthralled I really didn't even pick it up. I just went with it, and I was more impressed with the other series started in Toronto and it had this concentric circle kind of thing where it got bigger and bigger. They start off in London. I was amazed, like just that scene with the police officers in London. It took me a minute before I realized that they weren't part of the background, that they were actually actors that were going to interact with her. They did such a phenomenal job of making it look like they owned that world. I was just in awe of it. I want to watch it online, and I'll get into it huge.
There's features that couldn't get that feeling out of a street scene. Because they just seem to be, they seem to blend themselves into it, and that's okay to ignore us. We're not here, and people just go on with their lives.
And that's why they're nominated for Best Cinematography at the Vancouver Web Fest, because it is amazing what they achieve in one small series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think, Andrew, do you got a line for us?
Yeah, he said, I think at least once or at least twice, I think it was a Tate. He was looking at Sandy and he said, "I thought she'd be older."
He said that
So
several
I
times.
mean, a couple of.
Why? Why
And
would?
I think he was thinking that it would be somebody older, more experienced agent or whatever that they'd be after in this. I haven't seen all the other episodes, so I don't have the backstory, but I think that scene is showing that he actually likes her. He likes her, and he's going to end up helping her, or thinking, well, he's going to believe her when she reaches out to him and says, this is what's really happening, kind of thing. So I think there's a connection already there.
Yeah. The complexity of trying to disassemble a show that is so complex, guys. That one.
Especially if you've only watched one episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Sucker. All right, so let's move on to the next one. And this is the only one that's a documentary. Vancouver.
Should we score it?
Oh, sorry. I thought we just. Oh, you're right. Sorry.
Two of us did. The rest of us did.
Oh, okay.
All right. That's why it's so confused. We're just doing stuff all over the place. So Stephanie, what was your score?
4.0.
All right. And Cam, what was your score?
Oh, I had to give it a 4.5.
Wow.
Ah,
JD, what did you give it as a score?
4.5, my friend.
All
Welcome
right.
to the
And
new level.
Andrew, what did you do as a score?
4.4.
Wow. And I gave it a 4.3, so a very, very solid show. And yes, for sure, if you're going to go to the Vancouver Web Fest, this is one of the ones you definitely want to check and get your money's worth. Can you imagine me sitting and watching this on a big screen with a big bowl of free popcorn and a nice red wine?
Comfy chairs. Don't forget the comfy chairs.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Hey, let's go over to the next one, which is, like I was just saying, is a documentary, Vancouver Cycle Chick, and it's observing the elements. This is the one about the guy that's a gardener. And this is a little out of what the rest is, so I think we should do more of a freestyle for this one.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little about the cinematography, the story, and those type of stuff. So let's start with for JD.
Yeah, this is another. This was actually at the inaugural year of Vancouver Web Fest in 2014. They had one there as well, and it's a very well shot, well written documentary type series. If you like podcasts like This American Life, or you like glossy magazines, it has that feel and that edge to it. It tells a beautiful story about somebody in Vancouver, their life and their lifestyle as it connects to Vancouver. And Vancouver is really a character. And then the main theme is cycling. It's cycle chic, and the way they shoot it, the way they edit it, the voiceover they do, it is beautiful. And I'm going to be excited to see this on the big screen because it will look gorgeous and beautiful and wonderful. You go to their website, and they tell some amazing stories of what it really means to live in Vancouver. I think they do a very good job of representing a lot of different levels of people in a city like Vancouver that has so much beauty and where bikes are a very mainstay in getting around town. I really enjoy it, and I really liked it as a documentary. I think it's the top of its game in terms of storytelling.
Nice. Let's throw it over to Andrew. What do you got?
I thought it was pretty. At first, I couldn't figure out what they were doing with it, but I liked the cinematography. The images of Vancouver that they chose was really cool. When he was talking about his gardening, I thought, showing, the urban gardening, like doing like a vertical garden on a wall. That was one thing that I noticed that I really liked. And the scene at the end where he's like just sitting there on a log in the beach, taking pictures.
Andrew, freeze.
That's
Okay.
another one that was memorable for me. Did I freeze?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's go to Ken.
This for me was like a video coffee table book.
Yeah.
It just sort of nice pictures and this and that. I'm not sure, and featuring Vancouver, that's great, and I'm not sure this is something I could watch for any great length of time. But I definitely appreciate the cinematography. Some of those shots were just huge and grand, and everything that goes into that. But there are some good photographs as well. So, but yeah, it wasn't one of my favorite things. But for what it was, I'm glad it was short. No.
Such a bastard.
No, I know.
Stephanie, what do you got?
It's been said 1,000 times already. This is one of the most beautiful web series that I've yet seen for like year 2 of the Vancouver Web Festival. Beautiful in every possible way. I would love to see some of the story come out of it. I don't think I caught it in the one single episode. I hope in a series I'm going to get more of the story of why I should care about the photographs.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the series. It's beautiful cinema photography. I have to definitely say that it was very light on content. If you watch a classic documentary, it actually gets a very strong point across. There's a storyline. There's a reason for going through this. And it was kind of like Seinfeld, the middle. You got the middle. It's beautifully shot. Like you said, as a web series, I think the story actually isn't all the different people. The story is the bicycle as the metaphor that brings it all together. So it's more of a thing, and we all live here in beautiful British Columbia, and I know that's so very stereotypical, but like if you were in Sri Lanka and did a series of a bunch of people on bicycles, we watched it, it's like, oh my God, that's amazing. Or if we were in Brazil and did a series like this on bicycles, or some other amazing city in the world that we don't live in, of course it would look amazing. So imagine people that don't live in Vancouver being exposed to this stuff. It's basically taking what the commercialization of British Columbia gets as far as distribution through the Ministry of Tourism and the big advertising agencies that do these very slick pieces. Yeah, very nice, very grand, but you know what? Not real at all. People that come to Vancouver are expecting like, where are the glaciers? Where are the grizzly bears? Da 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 da. And they have to come to Vancouver several times or be really lucky, and then kind of get it's like, wow, this is just it's a nice small coastal town that's got beautiful people that want a lifestyle, and everybody's active because it's such a great place to be active in, and that is not portrayed in our marketing. Sorry, Ken, what was that?
They're just not very good at dating.
Well, yes, well,
yeah, I know.
That's what the other web series are about.
It's really interesting, Bob, because it is like a living postcard. My friend, shout out to my friend Kevin, who was just in town for a week. He came from Winnipeg Beach, and the day before he came to Vancouver, he was skidooing on a frozen lake in minus 30 plus wind chill. And he comes out here, and it's 12 degrees, and the sun's up, and there's green grass, and he's like, well, where am I? It is a magical place, and they do a great job. I think in terms of a web content, this is amazing. I could see this in Instagram. I could see this being shared through Facebook, just to let people know all over the globe the type of people that are here, the type of scenery that's here, and the bicycle culture itself, and how unique it is because of the environment it's in. I think it really achieves a level of art. Like, I could see this. You could go into, you know, the Vancouver Art Gallery, and they'd have a video screen, and they'd show a few of these. It has that kind of art quality to it. It's really nice.
So with that, wow, you know, we hate this show. So, I can hardly wait for these incredibly low scores coming up. So let's start with Stephanie. What do you got for a score?
Well, it is actually pretty low. I've got a 3.5 on this one.
Oh!
I was looking for more story, I guess, but yeah. I don't know why it's so low. It is a pretty thing.
You know what? I want you to see it on the big screen at the Vancouver Web Fest in March 6th to 8th. You got to check it out on the big screen. I think you'll fall in love with it a bit more.
Oh, I'll be there.
All right, so let's throw it over to Andrew. What do you think?
I give it a 3.2. It might have been because it came right after whatever Linda
guide stones.
Wow. After watching those two, and then this one, at first I couldn't figure out. Okay, I get it. It's showcasing images and all that. But yeah, 3.2.
All right, cool. JD.
I gave it a 4.0. I think it's fantastic. I think it's kind of magical, and it reminds me why I left Winnipeg and came here.
Oh, okay. So that's your bias for Vancouver. Ken, what do you got?
Well, I actually gave it a 3. Yeah, I know. But it's,
Ken, where do you live? Burnaby? I just want to be clear.
He lives in White Rock, doesn't he?
For that whole thing, it's nothing I haven't seen almost every day. What am I talking about?
I have to drive by that.
But you know, it's the kind of I live there. I see this all. I mean, I not only see it, but I see it.
Mm-hmm.
I notice it, and so for me, this was this was me on a Saturday sort of thing, and out and watching the drive to work. I see the mountains with the snow on them, and I look up to actually see them. So I kind of do that anyway, but I kept waiting for something to sort of happen, and then he waved bye-bye. Okay. Good. Okay, that was nice.
All right.
Well, what do you think they do with Chic? Is Chic like clowns coming out of a car at the end for you?
Well,
does the name not say it all? Vancouver bicycle Chic. It's not.
Well,
it's not bicycle explosions.
Chic, not chick. Now I know.
At least he could have put a playing card on the back wheel and have it rattle, like we.
But you know what? Go check out the website, Ken. There are tons. There's like
that's a whole other thing. Yeah.
Pierce people. There's people from East Van. There's people from Burnaby. They tell the whole story. This is just one guy's story. Who's an amazing gardener and a photographer, and he lives in Vancouver. Yeah. So there's more story, but yeah.
I gave it a 4, but I'm going to bring it down to 3.8 now that I know it's chic, not chick, because it's like,
weren't
chic,
prepared,
give me a break.
or you
Vancouver
were
is not chic.
over-prepared?
Yeah, that's my dyslexia kicking in big time. I'd have to say that I think as a whole, the whole is greater than the parts. Put it that way. And that's why I give it a slightly a lower score. But and also because we hear it's a documentary on a place that you live, and it goes back to like if we saw a documentary on Toronto and the coolness of Toronto, that would be very impressive.
And
But
about 30
or
seconds.
New York or LA or whatever, that it's exposing and showing what the city really is. And if people that are in the city look at it and go, yeah, well, yeah, of course it's like that, that's actually a very impressive thing.
Yeah.
That the people that actually live here discard it because they say, yeah, okay, yeah, I get that, compared to the commercialization, like I said earlier, where people that are in BC and live BC look at this and go, oh my God, that's amazing, the mountain bike on that mountain. It's not real.
Go somewhere cold for a while and
No.
then come back. That's
No.
just like go live in frozen cold Alberta or Saskatchewan or Manitoba. Go
Well,
minus 30 plus the wind chill. Go just go
But
somewhere where it's
JD,
snow and
I was
wrong.
born
wrong.
in Vancouver.
JD, the show isn't about, oh, Vancouver's a great place to hang because it's warm. The show's about Vancouver's a place of amazing characters and amazing cool people. And this city is a magnet for some very interesting, very eccentric people at times. But
thank you.
that's what it's about. You know, it's not about, yeah, okay, it's relatively warm, but compared to LA, it's
no,
frozen
of course
here, right? So yeah, for us, for sure, as a documentary, it's very interesting. And I think it's kind of unfair for us to be talking about it because there's one documentary duking it out with like all this drama and some of the stuff we got coming up.
That's
wait a second though, but it did well conceivably in terms of our ratings. Like
that's how it shows how strong
it has done well. Yeah.
It did better than others.
Oh well, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, let's claw our way to number 11, which is Caper, and I have pronounced this right. Have I pronounced it right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You know. Now,
Caper.
Who would make a series about a part of a bagel? That's what I
Part of a bagel?
The capers and stuff, but I started watching it and saying, where's the deli? There's all these people running around posing as superheroes, and where's the deli? I was very disappointed. So JD, can you please explain the show to me?
Yeah, this is Caper. This is a show that's actually, it's on the Geek and Sundry platform, which is really great because if anybody ever watched The Guild, which was a great series with Felicia Day that she created a long time ago. This is her whole platform, and The Caper is on there, and LARPs is on there, which is another show that's showing at Vancouver Web Fest that you should check out. It's out of Valley Village in the USA, and it's a wonderful story about these superheroes who basically, well, it's one non-superhero and three almost like gods and goddesses superheroes. And they can't pay their rent. They're absolutely broke from saving the day over and over and over again. And there's specifically a comment where she owns this robotic suit called the Machine, and she's the one who flies it and owns it, and everybody treats her like trash because everybody thinks there's some dude in it. But it's hers. She invented it and she made it. And it's this multi-million-dollar machine that she's going broke fixing over and over because she's saving the day all the time. And they make a decision as a group of them living together in an apartment that they need to pull off a caper. They need to make some money for themselves so they can save people and not go poor. It's a great idea, and just the phone call that she has with her father, who just, what are you doing with those lazy layabouts living in that shitty apartment? It's like, yeah, I created a super suit. It's like it's so wild, turning the whole superhero concept on its head and making them, mid-20s, late 30s liabouts or something. It's really great. I love it.
Okay, so with that, let's talk to Ken.
You thought you'd get the opposite reaction? Actually, you won't, because I kind of enjoyed this. I kind of really enjoyed it. It just happens that the characters and the way they work together and all of this just seemed somehow to fit. It fit, and I wanted to even cheer for them. I wanted to see more. Okay, do something. Yeah, come on. But I'm a big fan of the superhero sort of stuff, or the Marvel DC sort of world. So for me, this, I really like this. It's what was some of the. One of the lines, nobody watches TV anymore. All the good stuff is online.
Oh, yeah. That was my line.
That was a great line.
That was great.
You got the Vancouver Web Fest 2015, March 6 to 8, Granville Island at Performance Works. It's $120 of 3 days of entertainment. You really have to go.
With what we Jaden gets $5 every time he says that.
He's a millionaire.
I do it for free, man.
But with this, unfortunately, with what we saw, it was sort of an extended introduction kind of thing, and it was a trailer, an intro. No, don't end. Get into the show. What are you doing?
Where's the next half hour?
So yeah. So shut up and do it. And when she came in, all dirty from the La Brea tar pits, it was like, oh geez, yeah. Oh, this is the genius superhero. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. It was tickled me. That's all.
Steffi, baby, what's up?
Okay, you guys have already gone on and on about the story being really, really good and all that. So I'm going to go into the multimedia aspect of it, which is so fun. Damn, the editor was smart here. Super smart.
I forgot about that.
Live action superhero stuff. You had a comic or a motion graphic kind of thing going on. You had your comic text and things that was kind of zooming in at different kind of areas to highlight the spots that you had to care about, wanted to know about, had the cool one-liners too.
Yeah.
I'm just going to focus on that multimedia side. It really incredibly well constructed superhero web series, and I just had a fun time visually watching how they combined it without making it feel cheesy.
Yeah,
I really liked the way as soon as she went into superhero mode, it went into animation.
Well, I think the reason they did that was to save a ton of money, because it's much easier to hire a guy to draw.
It still works though, yeah. That's
absolutely. I mean, they had a $100,000 explosion that probably cost them $50.
But that's the thing. They chose each of them. There was a visual effects of the explosion in the air as well that wasn't a cartoon piece. I mean, they just chose perfectly well.
Yeah. It's very, very, very well done. So, Andrew, what do you got to say?
I liked it as well. I like the character, the machine, who is like a female Iron Man, and they kind of do they're kind of mocking Iron Man. Instead of Stark Industries, it's Clark Industries, and what's his name? I can't remember his first name, Steve Clark or whatever. He's a character much like Nick Stark's, and when they interviewed him, because everybody thinks he interviewed him, are you okay? And he goes, well, the machine's fine, and so am I. And he kind of winks at the camera, like he's like he's like taking the credit, but it's not him. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome. I thought the beginning with the comic font, introducing the characters with the big splash boom, like the old Batman series.
Yep.
I thought that was great. I like Ken brought up the line, nobody watches TV anymore, but also the other line I liked was, if this was a TV show, we'd start it off like Charlie's Angels. We were here in LA and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And the characters
are
like
really good.
Go ahead.
Well, I think they don't call it Los Angeles. They call it the City of Angles.
Yeah,
And
Los
Yeah.
Angeles.
yeah, welcome
Yeah.
to the city of angles where everybody has one, which is probably my favorite line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's a
And when they introduce each character, everybody throws like one single line that defines their character, and it's awesome. That
Yeah.
little sequence of the caper, and later you'll get it reveals a bit more about it. But they specifically pull this caper off, and the deal is that they're not allowed to use their powers to do it. And it's fascinating because they really like hate what they're doing and that they have to do it, because these are like, you're talking about a goddess, a god, and like a half alien dude, and they have to behave like they're beggars, and it pisses them off. And so it's really interesting that
Well,
to put that on it.
they're all pissed off except one guy, which is the basically the super guy with the blonde hair, and
Yeah.
the scene where he's eating Oreo, was it Cheerios?
Cheerios.
He's amazing with a huge spoon, with it spilling out. And I mean, it's such a frat scene, and I think what's interesting is they're targeting once again the college humor crowd, because that's a big crowd, and College Humor is one of the sponsors and major, well, not sponsors, but major people coming to the event this year. So for them to be targeting that, I think they're finally figuring out, it's like, well, who cares about guys our age? Let's start making stuff that these kind of really, the 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds that are saying, well, wow, I'm going to be in a situation like that in the next several years. This is interesting stuff. How are they going to survive? Even if they're heroes, how are they going to make money and survive and continue to go on? Because for them, that is the meaning of life. It's like going to university and surviving so you can go to university.
So many 19-year-olds believe they're superheroes anyway.
Yeah, when they're 18 they do, though. So let's do a quick lightning round of scores, because we did have a lot of fun chatting about that. We're a little over time now. So I'll start it off, and I give it a 4.3. That's how good it was.
Nice.
Stephanie, what did you give it?
4.3.
Wow. Ken?
4.2.
Ooh. JD?
4.2.
Ooh. And Andrew?
Whoa, 4.0.
Whoa, Andrew is
I'm a low baller.
But you know what? We're all around 4, which is pretty damn impressive, because I think that's one of the few shows that has been that level. So now I'm very, very interested. This next show, number 12, Still. This is very, we've gone through all these shows, and really this is the only one of this genre. And now there was a scene in Nevermind Linda where she's frying the eggs and all her teeth fall out, and I said, oh my god, it's a zombie show, and it wasn't, and I love that. But now we have Still, which is it's a zombie show, but it's not a zombie show. It's a sci-fi version of a zombie show. It's very nice. So let's throw it over to Andrew to start this off. What did you think of this?
I love this show. I like zombie, vampire TV shows and movies, so it is kind of targeted right at me. But no, I really liked it. You've got the old style slow zombies that move like really slow, and then you got like the 28 days later zombies that run after you, and so you better be really quick. And now you've got the zombies that just stand there and don't move at all.
Unless you turn around.
At least when you're not looking at them. If you look at
That's
them,
Doctor Who and the Angels.
I was thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right.
I thought it was great. The little girl character, I thought she was awesome.
Amazing.
She was an awesome character. The guy, the main character, he did a good job too. The whole thing I thought was really well done. I liked it when he said, well, how many have you seen in the neighborhood? And then she just looks at him and says, neighborhoods.
Yes.
And then he's like, oh, I gotta get home. Too late.
All right, JD, what do you got to say?
It's an amazing show. It's out of Everett, Washington. It's, like you're right, it has a sci-fi bent. We're not sure about it. I have a question for everybody. I'm not sure if you know, what episode do you think you watched?
Oh, it
Ooh, good
was like
question.
5 or 6, wasn't
No,
it?
don't answer, but if you don't, just guess.
I would say it's close. I was maybe 2, maybe 3.
Yeah.
It seems the very beginning to me.
Yeah.
Introduction of characters. That there was no real story arc.
Yeah, I thought I saw it, and I thought it was a little further in than just the beginning sort of thing.
And Andrew,
You
know?
I would have to be fairly early in the series, I would imagine 2 or 3 or.
Steph, what was it?
Well, I knew. I remember noting the fact that it was quite a few episodes in. But if I didn't know that, I might have guessed it was 2.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
episode 5.
Wow.
The way they've organized this thing, it happens in this one town. Each episode is a story of people leading up to a bigger story. So we just got told the story of that couple and the girl. But the other episodes are these other completely different stories. So they're telling these threads and they're slowly bringing them together. It's really an amazing show. I'm super impressed with the way they wrote it, how strong these characters. This is episode 5, and it feels like we're just leaping in and stuff's happening. And they did such a good job at creating the world, creating the story. The relationship of them just waking up at home and everything feels normal, everything feels lovely. The young girl is so strong, and just the simple idea of what they are and how you react to them, that a simple touch and you turn is really powerful stuff. Well done writing, well done cinematography, and the editing is super tight. It was very good.
Yeah, it was
Considering that the main characters are still, and there's these shots of them just sitting there, and that anticipation, it really works. It is a new type of story, and it's hard to be inventive. I think you're right, Andrew. They created something completely new, and it works.
Yeah.
So, sorry, and I have to move it along because we're really overboard here. Ken, what do you got to say?
All of that as well. It's a new sort of story to it, and I was happy to see that. And when they, it's like when you're driving by a field and there's cows in the field, and if all of a sudden they were closer, that would scare the crap out of you. And the same with the people. All of a sudden you turn and your head a little bit, and they're closer, and that's pretty scary. The only thing for me that I had was the main guy seemed a little sort of stiff to me, but I'm hoping he'll grow into that a little more and kind of loosen up. Compared to the girl, the girl was just amazing. She just kind of dropped into it, and everything felt really natural. And I'm not sure if the main guy is supposed to be kind of sort of locked up anyway, but he seemed that way.
It's interesting because it's a juxtaposition. She's been experiencing the event for longer than him, so she's already like cool with it. Like, okay, everything's falling apart, and he's dealing with it, and to him, it's just what. So I think it works, especially in contrast.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was hoping it was going to be.
Yeah.
Stephanie, what do you got to say?
I don't think I saw the same thing that you guys saw, unfortunately. I mean, I'm going to go back to it now. As always, you guys draw me back into it and push me in, and I see all the coolness, right? I saw a lot of the cool factors when I watched it the first time. Maybe it's just too many series in a row to watch for me. I loved the still and that Doctor Who-ish kind of feel of these zombie-like characters that are menacing, but we don't know how they're menacing. Like, all the elements I really loved about the show, but I didn't really enjoy watching the show. Can't quite put my finger on as to why, if it was an editing thing or if it was too many web series, too many zombie movies that I've watched in the last while. Not sure. But, I like elements, but not the whole picture.
Well, I think maybe with this series, if you watch the first episode, I haven't seen the first episode, so maybe I don't know, but maybe it helps by watching the first episode, saying, oh, this is how it's going to work, and going from from group to group.
Maybe they put it together better.
Well, I think you just get used to it. Say, oh, it's a new scenario. It's a new scenario. You might get tired of it after 5. It's like, come on, let's move this thing forward.
The fact that Jay Dean had stated that every single episode was like a mini pocket of the bigger story, well, I always adore that. So I think I'm going to have to watch a couple of episodes and look at it again, definitely. And it really did have that one, and I will mention one element that I thought was super cool. The guy in the hospital gown at the beginning, no information about him.
No.
At the very end, tied the whole thing together. That was like a really cool thing they did there.
The hospital guy must be somewhere else as well in one of the other episodes.
And there's the connective tissue stuff that goes on because it's a small town and everybody knows each other. She actually says to him, and it is my favorite line, is "You should have run over Mr. Lewis."
Yeah. I had that.
And for a child to say that, you're just like, what? Like, she's saying, no, you should have run over Mr. Like, it's very obvious what she's trying to say.
Okay, why?
My God, another stupid adult. Come on, guys, catch up. It's just a serious plot. It's a mini-series. Come on. All right, so let's do a quick lightning round, starting with Stephanie. What did you give it as a score?
I gave it a 3.0, but I'm going to have to take a look at it again, it looks like.
All right, cool. Ken?
3.7.
Wow, 3.7. Jadine?
4.0.
Wow.
Terrific.
Interesting. And Andrew?
I give it a 4.5. I gave it an extra couple of points because of the way the zombies scream. It's exactly
that was my favorite.
Exactly like the original Body Snatchers movie. And there's a solar flare that starts the whole thing off that everyone heard at the same time around the world. So could be an alien invasion, right? I think
I'm going 4.2 now just because.
Attaboy, Andrew. Build up that score. All right, excellent, Andrew. Well put, and I think that is a lot of time. Okay, 4.2, and I gotta say, looking back at all these 12 shows we talked about for the last 2.5 hours, is that for us, you start to analyze the stuff and look at it and really put a bit of energy into studying, not just watch it like a zombie. There's some incredible, and sorry for the pun there, there's some incredible intellect being put into these shows, and that's the thing about web series. They may not have a huge budget for lighting, they may not have a huge budget for special effects, they may not have a huge budget for this or that, but God, they've got a massive budget for intellect and integrity and energy. So, So for all of us here in the Crazy TV Talk studios and all our wonderful special panelists, thank you for spending some time with us today talking about this amazing series. There are a ton more. This is just 12 out of, I think, how many? They got like 80 showing at the festival over the next 13
hours of shows.
That's crazy. Because these are 10-minute, 15, 20-minute shows, not like hour shows. So it's not like 13 shows.
Yeah.
It's many shows.
But to break into that for a quick sec,
yes,
just to state for someone who hasn't actually attended the International Vancouver Web Festival, it's a lot of shows, but they break them up extremely well by putting panels and information and photo ops and all sorts of things in between. So it's very, very chunkable.
Well, it's like a party, really. You go there.
Parties too, that's right.
Yeah, when you go there and you're kind of hanging out with some people and you're having a couple of drinks of wine. There's, let's go watch some shows, and I don't like this so much. And then you go back and there's like 12 people hanging out talking about the industry. And so, well, I'm a producer. And so, I'm a cameraman. So, wow. And you start talking with them. So, hang on, I really wanted to watch your show. And you leave that group and you do that for 3 days. It's an amazing experience. I did this for the first time with Jadine last year. Just a phenomenal experience.
Can we do a rating on the web fest?
Yeah. I would give it I would give like a 3.2. No, well, I would say that this year, all right, I'll give it a 4.5 because this year's they've got 2 bars. So,
2 bars. And we're not talking about a cell phone here.
Yeah, exactly. No, I would definitely recommend going to check out this event. It is phenomenal. It's great value. But we're running out of time. So, Jadine, please wrap up the damn show.
Thank you very much, Steph. Thank you very much, Kenneth. Thank you very much, Andrew, for having this little adventure with us, because content online is the future of content, is the future of television, is the future of movies, and what they're doing and what we watched in just these 12 episodes was absolutely fantastic. Now it's your opportunity as a listener to act on this, and if you're interested in getting into making something like this, you want to go to the Vancouver Web Fest. If you're interested in watching these amazing shows on the big screen, having free popcorn and having a drink, you want to go see these. If you're interested in learning about the industry with some amazing industry panels, exotic animals, sound design for web series, it's amazing. If you just want to go to parties, there's an opening party. There is a live show that's happening on the second day party, and then of course the red carpet awards gala that's happening on the third night as well. You want to go to VancouverWebFest.com. All the information is there. It is March 6th through 8th in Vancouver. It's on Granville Island at Performance Works. It is an amazing experience that you need to be a part of. Now, folks, go to WebFest and go make a great day.